Barefoot Bruisers, what's happening, guys? Still carrying the Dabore Solo, but also got this DSK Recluse. So this is the first Recluse. Obviously I'll modify everything I have, but he just, DSK Dan just posted the version 2, like the Tanto version on Instagram. Looks pretty freaking badass. And you know what, sometimes you see a knife like that, you just gotta pick one up and carry it with you, right? So I got that one that's running sidekick on this week, today anyhow. But this week carried been that Solo. So what I decided to do is, like, instead of doing like a review of all the knives, I'm just gonna throw a breakdown video of them all. Because the last time I did one was probably like, well, last time I murdered a bunch of them anyhow. It might have happened since then. It was when Steve Clare used to send me knives. He used to send me like a bunch of knives at one time. And I remember doing one a while back. It seemed like it was a pretty cool video. I gave some of my thoughts to it, but you know, like going from the layman, kind of like, I was a machinist, but like not into knife making, and then going into knife making, a lot more of the designs and how they lay out and execute a knife makes a lot more sense to me, and I kind of look further down the line on some of that stuff. So I gave some thoughts as I went, but I didn't go in great detail. But before we cut to that video, because I edited them all pretty much as I broke them all down, I ordered shirts. I know I didn't order enough when I ordered them, but I didn't really know what I was going to do with the shirts, if I was going to try to sell them or give them away or whatever else. But I know there's a lot of y'all that I didn't get a shirt, and I apologize for it. The ones that got the shirt, I hope you enjoy them. But I do have stickers, so if you're going to be at the Blade Show, let me know, or come up and say, hey, I got stickers. And then everything I send from this point further out, from this point further, what am I trying to say? For this point further. Is that what I'm trying to say? Hey, y'all know what I'm saying. This point, I'm mumbling. Holy crap, I'm mumbling. I can't even think. It's late at night. Well, it's not super late, but it's late at night. Trying to get this video done for y'all before Sunday morning. But I'll be up late, show. Hit me up for a sticker if you want one. And if not, if you do send me something else, or I'll send you something else, I'll put a sticker in there with it. That's what I'm trying to say. Looking forward to the show. I ain't got nothing really 100% planned, other than I'm probably going to be looking at more maker stuff, and there's a few custom makers that I've been meaning to check out that I'm going to check out. I'll probably be fairly light as far as what I buy this year, mainly due to the fact that I've already spent most of my money on the mill and the Oberon and whatever else, the Incosi, all the other stuff I spent, and I need to be saving money, not spending money. But I did sell enough knives to have a little bit of a nest egg, so, and I got some money saved up too, so I'll be okay. But I want to try to keep it light as I can. What else I want to say? Also did the Zahn from last week, the regular straight blade Zahn. I was talking about maybe possibly doing a hot bill out of it, and I might do another one in the future. I don't know. It all kind of depends. But Denise had hit me up pretty much shortly after that video and said, hey, I want that Zahn. Go ahead and build that Zahn for me. So thanks for pushing me on that, Denise. I do appreciate you. And then, not that I could take money from her right away, but I did have that, you know, pressure of, I'm building this for somebody to sell it kind of thing. I didn't really like the whole pressure thing. I didn't know how I'd be, but mainly, I think it's mainly because I didn't know what I was going to do to it. If I was going to, you know, it's not like a same model that I'm repeating the pattern to or repeating the process to. It's all custom. Like everything about it was custom. So I was like, I could very well possibly mess this up. Not that like I said, not that we had done the deal yet or nothing, but I put pressure on myself, put it that way. Luckily, that new mill I got came in handy already. So like I put a closed stop pin position in it, and everything worked out perfect with that. And I did a little refinishing on it. And hopefully, I'm showing you in the video behind my mumbling right now, that you'll be able to see that how the knife turned out. I'm super happy with the end results of it. That one is in K390 as well, and I think. Because I sold that one, that I'm going to do something different with the last Incosi I had. I was originally going to do, well, let me go ahead and show you. I had messed this blade up last week that I already showed you guys, and I went ahead and cut a different blade. This is K390 as well. And I'm doing this stuff like late nights, this kind of thing. So I did this night, and I woke up a little early the next morning thinking, I'm just going to drink a cup of coffee, go out there, and I'm going to grind that lot face, put the D10 in. I was going to do a video on it too. And I went out here. This is going to take a little bit of a like background. Let me see if I can do this where it makes sense. Can you see the lock faces on these knives? Can you see that one slants this way and the other one slants that way? Yeah. Oh, I'm an idiot, and I came out here barely having had drank a cup of coffee, and I ground the lock face backwards. Just one of those things. My brain wasn't thinking. As soon as I did it, I mean, literally, as soon as if I'd have just ground a little bit and then come back and checked it on the knife, I'd have known I'd done it wrong. But like, I literally, as soon as I put it on the knife, I was like, I'm such an idiot. I can't believe I just did that. So I got to make another blade. I'm about tired of CRKs. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I'm gonna finish this and cozy up. And then that's probably gonna be it for a little bit here anyhow. Like I don't see myself revisiting the CRKs. But the next time I do this in cozy, it ain't gonna be the thin blade stock K390. It's gonna be big fat daddy 3V. We're gonna make it, hopefully, if everything goes right, we're gonna make it all good. But I'll show you all that in the future. Shows coming up beforehand. So let me go ahead and cut to the videos, and then we'll come back and close the whole thing down. All right, y'all. We got the MOW broke down, so y'all can see what's going on here. In case you didn't know, the pivot top screw. He's got a different style, but this is like his oiler style. So you can see behind that head is a washer. Underneath that, it's like a little nylon washer, which helps it slide. Underneath that, it's this little, I don't know if it's plastic, kind of like an O-ring, clear O-ring, quad ring, whatever you call it, that keeps all the, I guess when you got a choice whether you want to use it or not, but that's basically how it goes, like that. It goes onto the top of the scale, so it seals all that oil in there. So the way this system works, let's see if I can even see it in here. There's like a little hole that you basically screw it in, and the oil squirts out. It helps you lubricate it. But if you've never seen the inside of his bearings, like this, that's the different bearings he uses. So it's like the transmission, almost like thrust bearing, thrust bearing or something. So that's what I call it anyhow. But you can see how that rods that whole face. You can see, hopefully you can see that. It's almost like a washer. Don't leave just that little, witness ring. The whole thing is, so you get a lot more stability on this than you do a typical bearing knife. You see he runs the lock bar insert. If you've never seen the hokey pokey, not a huge fan of whole back rolling detent. That's what the whole back rolling detent looks like. It's just a set screw on this back side that you just tighten, loosen to engage the detent more or less, which really doesn't work. It doesn't do a damn thing to me. The only thing advantage it does is it rolls. And so instead of being a fixed ball that's scraping across the surface, it rolls. So not my favorite, but you can see his backspacer, what he's doing on his backspacer there. Hopefully all this makes sense to you. But I figured I'd break it down. Obviously, external stop pin. Let's just set it on the blade, set the blade on here so you can see. So external stop pin lines up to the frame. You see that? And then also stops, makes a stop pin for the closed side. This is very typical and very strong, because basically, you'd have to shear these pins off or indent the titanium enough to actually change something. So I'm not sure what the lock bar insert's made out of. I'm assuming it's probably 3V2 no on top, but that's pretty much the MOW breakdown. It's a fairly mechanically simplistic model, but it makes a lot of sense to me. I do like it. If you've never seen one apart, that's what it looks like. So let's stop this one and get you the next one. Up next is the DSK Kickstand. So it's pretty much factory, other than, or I say factory, but custom. But I did change the bearings, so they got skiffs in them. Normally with DSKs, the lock side is pressed in here. This one just happened to be, I don't know if I pressed it in and out. I don't know. It's been in and out apparently, so it falls out. Normally DSKs, they're like Medfords. They press in that lock side. But you can see it's pretty much the same as the heater was with the simple construction as far as the stop pins go. The stop pins are pressed into the blade. If I can get this damn thing in here. There we go. Throw a bearing in it real quick. So it's same like the heater. Your stop pin for lockout and the stop pin for close is pressed into the blade. The construction of this one's a little different because it doesn't have the backspacer. It's just like literally a piece of tubing or material is cut to length, and that's the backspacer. So it's pretty simple as far as construction goes, but simple is effective, right? one of the main reasons I like DSKs is just the simplicity of the design. So I don't think there's a whole lot more to be said about, you know, construction wise of the DSK. I'm just gonna put it back together and we'll go to the next one. All right, well, I did say American Badass Customs a minute ago, but hey, I forgot about Dabore, so my bad. Croatian in there too. Anyhow, if you've never seen a Dabore Integral apart, you can see hopefully up in there the nylon's still there. I'm gonna leave it there because it's more of a pain in the butt to get it in position. It's a little thin. Hopefully you can see how thin it is. It's not like it's super thick or super robust, so there's kind of a pain in the ass to get these nylons in and out from my experience. But you can see it's pivot colors, so pivot and pivot color, as this thing won't focus, of course. Pivot and pivot color on both sides. I don't know what the materials are, but same construction as far as like we were talking about a minute ago with the opening. So it does have that stop pin there, but on the closed position it does have a stop pin. Hopefully you can see it up in the middle. It's about right here. And for the life of me, for a long time there, I was like, how does he do that? And then finally I realized, and you can barely see it, so the whole position is right in here. If you look just right, which this camera's not going to focus, let me see if I can zoom in and maybe that'll help. No, that's out. In. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can find it on the camera. One of my other ones you can definitely see it better, but he drills the hole from this side, then he plugs it, and then he refinishes it. But you can see right there how good he did of the job. Like, I don't know, I can't even find it in this camera view, but look at the step milling inside there. So you can see this pass he's taking with the tool, plunging in and then going across. Like, that's precision. There's definitely precision. So if you've never seen a Dabore apart, that's what a Dabore looks like blowed apart. I'm gonna put it back together now. All right, we on to the Sergey Roitz XR3. So this one's a little different for sure. So all four of these holes in the back, I'll go through this copper and goes through washer basically on both sides of the copper. So why he didn't make the copper the exact thickness, I don't know. It does make it kind of a pain in the butt to put together and take apart, but you can see all its threads go in these little barrels, like a lot of the, let me get back where y'all can see it, like a lot of the import knives use these barrels. I like these because it you know, you can ream these scales and this, and everything's nice and in alignment so your scales don't shift. All the other ones, both the heater and the DSK didn't have anything that basically keeps the knife from shifting. There's no pin going through it. That's just with the DSKs, it goes through a spacer and into the other side titanium. With the heater, both screws are coming into the back spacer and screwing into the back spacer. So that alignment there is only really goes, the only thing that goes all the way through both of them that's reamed is the pivot on both of those designs. So it's just a different design. I like the rigidity of this style design where the scales don't sandwich back and forth like that, or can wee wall back and forth. I did put, these are Gillians in here. I was going to put ceramic, I didn't have them at the time, so I ended up throwing these Gillians in here, but still good bearings. You know, they're basically similar to the skiffs, other than these don't have the ceramic balls, these have the steel balls. But I will remedy that one of these days. I just haven't thus far. So on this one, you can see that the stop pin is back in the titanium, not pressed in the blade, and it's also the stop pin for the closed position as well. So you can see it basically how the blade sits there. If I can move my hand out of the way so you can see it, so that you see how the blade sits there in both positions. So one stop pin for both open and closed, but it's sandwiched in the in between the scales, and the blade hits it so that it doesn't travel with the blade. Some studs I added on this one too, so obviously I blasted it. So you can also see that instead of like lightning pockets, he milled like ball grooves inside the scales. Not a fan of lightning. This is about the only form of acceptance that I have that I like, but when we get to that miller, we'll talk about that some more. But I'm just not a fan of hollowing out titanium. I never feel like it never feels as good as a solid titanium for me personally. We all different, but fairly solid. So I'm not gonna ding him too hard, because this is just minimal stuff. It's more or less to make him feel better. I don't think it's going to change a whole lot with the knife design. It could be a balance thing, but you're running a copper backspacer. So if you're running a copper backspacer, copper weighs a lot more than titanium. You could have made this out of titanium and, you know, foregone all this stuff. So it's kind of a a mute point on this particular build in my eyes. But I'm not the maker. He is. He does what he wants to do. He's also a jeweler too. So also notice I didn't tell you about the on the wall. I didn't mention it on the heater, but both these guys inspired me for the lock bar inserts, going the whole length of the lock bar. Not just like a lot of the import guys will just make like this scale, and then you're looking at basically half the steel and half the titanium. But you can see this is the whole lock face that you're engaging from this bar is all hardened steel. Same with that heat, same with the MOW, the same premise as far as that goes. So I like this construction. I'm a fan of this construction, but I do like the simplicity of pressing the stop pin into the blade kind of thing, like we're on these two, and that seems to be more the more simplistic, easier way of doing things. But I mean, there's no less any hard doing it this way either, I don't think. So just quick thoughts on this one. We'll go on to the next one. So admittedly, this is the first time I've broken down this T1, and it looks like it's disgusting. You can see all the junk everywhere, especially the blade. So this is Z-wear, so you can see a little surface rust. Hopefully you can see all that. These are actual the stop pins, and these are like kind of sort of thumb studs, I guess, the way he lays it all out and does everything. So he also does the, did I lie to you? No, I didn't. Okay, so he also does a internal stop pin too. So stop pin externally hitting the titanium, and internally. So he has two stop pins, which is, it's cool and ridiculous at the same time, but that's what this knife's about, right? And then obviously closed stop pin is that pin right there. So I believe he's probably sitting on one or the other, probably not both at the same time, but it could be one at the same, both at the same time. Okay, so huge oversized pins that go in this, and then the screws screw into this. This was Loctited the shit out of. Like, it was worse than that Rogovitz the first time I took it apart. This is by far the most Loctite I've ever seen on a knife. So he obviously doesn't want people working on his knives, but obviously I don't give a shit. I'm going to get into it anyhow. But you can even see with the laminates of look at that coming off the pivot. Look at this chunk of stuff. So yeah, way too much Loctite in my opinion. And it was a pain in the butt to get apart, and I haven't even got the backspacer all the way off yet. But you can basically see there's no point of me getting it any further than what it is. I'm going to clean it all up and put it back together. But we talk about CNC versus manual mill, and if you've never heard of pantographs, they're basically you trace a pattern into machines it for you, and that's what a lot of these, like pockets like this particular pocket is cut that way. It's either on a CNC or a pantograph. That's just the only way you're going to get this pocket. Like manually, you're not going to be able to get that kind of pocket. I mean, could you? I guess you could. It'd be a lot of damn setups. I don't even know how many times you'd have to set a mill up in order to do this manually. But then the signature stuff inside, it's kind of like what Todd does over here, and I'm pretty sure he uses a pantograph to do his too. So his signature. So it's just a different style of manual machining that honestly I've never done any of. It's just in between. It's kind of like the archaic CNC, more or less. Other than you can't tell it what to do, you can only trace the pattern, and the pattern gives you what comes out over here. Or you could freehand too, I guess. But this is pretty much a pantographed, at least the frame part of it. Like this is all done manually. Like he does what he wants to, finishes. And you've seen his knives before. They're all a little different. You can see how the step mill in here is different than most of the lock bar style cutouts. I'm trying to look for an external one. So like DSK, let's see what's on the heater. So his is and milled out too. So you can kind of see that it's a different style pattern because he's step milling it to leave that like that. It's an interesting way of doing it. It's not I don't see any really advantage of doing it that way, but it looks cool. But you can see like lock bar insert, like I was talking about before, it's only half the lock face. So you're going to be on steel for the first half and then titanium the second half, which ideally that you'll never touch the titanium anyhow, but it is what it is. But if he did the same thing like the Rogovitz and the MOW, the lock face, the whole lock face could have been steel. You can see a little bit of mismatch on that. Not much, just a little bit, but yeah, overall good machine. You can actually see where he heated this up to bend it over a little bit. It was just kind of interesting. Most people blast that stuff off, so he did it obviously after it finished everything else. But this thing's dirty as hell. I gotta pause this and clean it all up. Get ready to take that solo apart last. All right, last up, we got the Dabore Solo. This is the first time I've had this Solo apart, and I got some surprises. Some things I didn't expect to see when I opened this thing up. This is a different finish on this lock bar cutout, so it's kind of like a cratered finish or dimpled, or I don't know, finished with an end mill, or I mean a Dremel rather, or something like that. So it's just a different looking lock face there. You can also see I got to put my hands on top of this to hold it. How he relieved the lock bar here. So that's either that looks like a CNC path to me. If I'm guessing, that's a CNC path. Just to how it looks, the step over and that sort of thing. On the standoffs here, I'm just going to take one apart so I can show you guys. There's basically 3 copper washers and then a normal looking standoff. Hopefully all this is coming in on camera. Can't really see worth shit. And 3 more washers below it. So it's a stacked style backspacer. I'm assuming that the regular length is probably for his 3/16, and then this is the extra thick because this is the extra thick blade. You know, sometimes he offers around a 1/4 inch. I haven't measured it, so I don't know if it's exactly a quarter, but around a 1/4 inch. I'm assuming that's what he does the difference of, like when they're thicker blades, he adds the copper washers to the outside of it. So that's just a different way of doing things. It doesn't really matter. It's just not one piece, so it does make it a little bit more cumbersome as far as taking it apart and putting it back together. But once the knife's assembled, it's essentially the same thing. You can see his lock bar insert is way different than all the other ones we've worked on so far. Pick it back up again. So it's just that one little sliver or one little piece, and it's protruding right there at the bottom where the lock engages. So interesting. And then you can also see how he puts the pin in here. That's his over travel. So he doesn't have a lock bar stabilizer. It's over travel, and you can see how it's just milled in there where it stops there. Pretty effective, but different. And one thing I can say about Dabore's is how good his detents feel. Almost all his detents feel that same way. And it's interesting enough when you see, excuse me, the size of this ball, which is like, excuse me again, around a 2mm ball. But look at the size of the hole he puts in the blade. I'm not getting a good, so I'm gonna try to zoom in here. There we go. So look at the size of the hole he put in the blade for the detent. So this hole has to be beyond what the tool path goes in order, otherwise it would be so big it would have backlash or detent lash. Hopefully this makes sense what I'm trying to say. This is pressed in. It's also got the steps, so it's sort of thumb studs and stop pins for this particular one. So just like we did before, this is the lockout stop pin. You can also see that other stop pin's right there. So whether it does or doesn't touch, which I don't think it does because you can't see a mark there, but when it closes, that's the stop pin for the closed side. I can't really see a mark there either. Maybe if I'm in a better light I could. Look at the size of the pivot on this guy. And I was talking about this with the CRKs a week or two ago, like how much bigger the diameter is, but this is a custom size. Like I don't even seen this size, so I measured it and it's like right around 400 thousandths. So huge pivot. And then also the bearings, and these are way different too. So they're thin, which I haven't measured what size they are as far as the balls go, and they're spaced way out, which I wouldn't have thought would have been a better feel, but I've never complained about the way this Dabore has ever felt. So interesting enough that they're steel, which I would have guessed they were ceramic, and also that so spread out, but yet this one does do pretty good as far as the feel of the blade and stuff like that. The standoffs also have that, you know, when I take these spacers off, they also have that same basic thing as what the Miller is, or you know, the imports where it's a threaded pin that you can screw in the screw from both sides. So it's pretty simple construction. For whatever reason, I don't know why Dabore does this. Maybe it's something that I need to think about trying myself, but let me get this down for a second. He always, on this show side scale, always puts like a steel insert on this side. So I hope you can see that's a separate steel insert that's below this bearing on this side, but never on the lock bar side does he ever put one. So maybe it's to counteract or make sure that the extra pressure from the lock bar pushing on it doesn't go into the titanium. I don't know, but I noticed on I did that carbon fiber one a while back. I noticed he had it on it. I just thought it was because it's carbon fiber, you put the steel in there, but I've seen it multiple Dabore sit stand where he puts that hardened lock face underneath that, but just on the show side, not the lock side. So interesting. All right, some definitely things I learned on this one that I'd never thought to even look at or try before. But let me zoom back out so hopefully you get another view of it again. But yeah, I like this one construction wise. Like, it seems pretty robust and stuff. And you can tell a lot of stuff either proprietary or just stuff that nobody else really uses. I've not known a lot. Hopefully you can see inside this pivot too. Once again, same as that T1, like tons of Loctite. You look in there, it's got that reddish tin, so I'm pretty sure he used red Loctite on that sucker. I don't know whether it came new. Obviously this is secondhand to me. I'm assuming it came new like that, but yeah, a lot of Loctite on that one too. So not super fond of the massive amounts of Loctite, but hey, if you never take your knife apart, you probably never have an issue with it. I'm just one of those guys that always got to take his stuff apart. But that's it for the last of the 6. All right, so I'm gonna try to get y'all a video next Sunday. No guarantees, because you know, obviously the blade show is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I usually go Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday is usually family, because a lot of my family's still there, my brothers and their family. So my nieces, nephews, who knows, my aunt, my uncle, who knows how many people are going to come. Probably Sunday all get together and do like a Sunday thing. So I usually don't go to the show on Sunday. I will try to make time to do a video either Saturday night or Sunday for you guys, but no guarantees for next week. But if we don't see you next week, it'll be 2 weeks. But I'll come back and show y'all what happened at Blade Show. Maybe I'll do one during the week and then just post it early or something. We'll see. But no more progress updates as far as the shop stuff goes. If I get anything done between now and then, it probably be so minor, it probably wouldn't even be worth showing on video. But hope you guys have a good time. If you're going to Blade Show, hit me up. At least say hey if you see me there or whatever else. But that's it for this week. Y'all be cool. Later.